And that's what we want to get to at this time. Welcome once again. We were with you this morning. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Wahiga. Thank you very much, Yvonne.
Thank you.
Happy to be back again.
Thank you for making time for us again. Very quickly, tomorrow morning at about 7:30 a.m., we expect the body of the late Daniel Arap Moi to be flown to Kabarak. From there, from the airstrip to where the service will take place, a distance of about 4 kilometers. From a military perspective, what do we expect to see at that time, Brigadier?
Now, Wahiga, tomorrow, as we had said earlier, is very much a family function. And the family will actually take precedence in all that, what goes on. And therefore, once the body arrives at the airport, we see it again, that procession, leaving the airport to go to Kabarak University, where we'll have that service again managed by the family. And then from there, we'll proceed to the burial site.
What sort of rites are we expected to see at the gravesite? In your experience, what do you think will happen, particularly when it comes to the role of the military?
Well, tomorrow again will be a very unique and delicate exercise. And therefore, what I'll give is what I think from experience have happened in the past in such functions. And this being a state funeral, and also drawing on from military traditions. What I see happening is that we will have the procession then head to the home and to the burial site. And at that point, when they arrive, the body will be prepared, and we'll see the clergy now taking the lead. The clergy will take the lead, and then they'll do the prayers again and last service at the site. And then we'll have what we call the last post, which we had said earlier that this does signify the final farewell and symbolizing the fact that the duty of the dead has come to an end, and therefore wishing him a peaceful rest after this. After the last post, what we'll see is the national anthem immediately after, and which we said again will be played in the 3 stanza. Again, because the whole exercise has to be very deliberate and go in a slow pace as the day deserves. After the national anthem, we are going to have the 1-minute silence. Very important indeed. Very, very important that everybody on site will be expected to observe the 1 minute silence.
And you'll allow me to interrupt you because there's something that I just really need to pick your mind on. One of the things that some of our viewers have been grappling with, and they've been messaging us, is the question of, as much as the military is in charge in terms of this being a state funeral, the balance with what the family would like and also the religious belief of the deceased. How will that balance come into play tomorrow? We spoke to someone today, for example, who told us that where the late Moi came from, when someone is buried, they are to face, for example, a particular location or either sunrise or sunset. So how do you balance all those factors, Brigadier?
Well, I want to bring that at the tail end, if you allow me, in terms of what happens. As I said, we're going to have the 1 minute silence, which happens for every soldier who has lost his life while serving. And of course, for head of state, it will be very, very important. After this, we may have, in honor of the late president, and which he is very much used to, a fly past.
Okay.
Yes, we may have that. Okay. As I said, I'm talking from experience.
Right.
It may not, but I strongly believe that a fly past will most likely be there on this day. And then after the fly past is what will have what most Kenyans have been expecting all through.
Yeah.
The 19-gun salute. You see, it is laid in order, again in line with military tradition. That comes towards the tail end. You'll have the gun salute, and at this point, remember, the body has just been lowered. The body has just been lowered into the grave. We'll have the 19-gun salute, which we said will run each after 5 seconds, again with military tradition. And then the tail end for the military at this point will be another very important occasion when we play the Rivale. The Rivale is another tune that we'll hear again at the tail end.
That's similar to the trumpet that we heard.
Yes, again. We'll hear the trumpet. The trumpet is the last post.
Yes.
But again, we'll hear the Rivale again, which again is more like closing off everything towards the tail. So you have the last post just before the body is being lowered. And the tail end now will have the Rivale coming in. Now, Wahiga, you asked, where does the family come in.
Yes, and the
now,
balance.
Yes,
family,
remember at this point,
religion, tradition.
Exactly.
at this point we said that the body has now been lowered. So you can see it down there. It's been lowered. At this point now, after the Rivale, is where now we'll come back to the traditional ceremonies. We'll see that it will now be handed over back again to the family. You see those traditional, a bit of that traditional. You'll see the wreath laying at this point after this, you know, and it's very much now a family show. Yeah, and you'll see them going through this process.
All right, my final question to you, Brigadier General. When does the military withdraw? When is the military's job done throughout this process?
Now, essentially, our function should end when the wreath laying is done and everything is done.
Okay.
But remember, we still have a role in terms of security at site and all that. And therefore, I see us being among the last, actually, to leave that site eventually as we prepare to leave.
Thank you for sharing that with us. You have one last word?
Yes.
Briefly, please.
Yes. I just want to say that I want to thank the nation, the government, and the armed forces for a sterling performance today. It was great. Precision, perfection. We saw a bit of a very monumental occasion, and indeed what I call a befitting farewell for a sovereign, the president, and commander-in-chief of the armed forces. I want to say and to wish him that let his soul rest in eternal peace.
Thank you so much for speaking to us. That's been Brigadier General Ahmed Mohammed, a Senior Advisor, Defense and Security with the Horn International Institute for Strategic Studies.
And I would just like to thank you. I mean, you've spent quite a bit of time with us as well from Saturday to Sunday. And like I said, Brigadier, please write that book.